Let's jump right into look 3 of 4 for Vlogmas Get Ready With Me. Today I'm going to be testing out the Dede Signature Festive Elegance Palette that I ordered on Black Friday and has arrived with a broken shade, so it's a bit messy. I did try to repress it, but we're gonna see how it goes today. These are my first impressions. I don't know how much I'll be able to hold up the palette today because I'm a little worried about making a mess, but you can see the shade broke all over the shadow saver, and then these whites are shadow protectors. And the shade that broke, that I was able to repress, hopefully, was this beautiful tinsel twist shade right here. Super pretty, but it has kind of gotten all over everything else in this palette. I'm putting something down in front of me here to hopefully catch some of this mess. Just trying to get that out caused a big mess. So let's go ahead and pull out the rest of the shadow savers so we can take a better look at this whole palette. I've already primed my eyes with some concealer, so we can hop right in. I'm going to start with the shade Candle Smoke, using a fluffy brush, putting it in the crease. This is my first ever order from Dede Signature, and I did order this on Black Friday when it was released, I believe. And because it was a new release, it was not on sale, and then because it was Black Friday, they also weren't doing any free shipping. So unfortunately, I didn't realize until after I ordered it that I could have used an affiliate code, and actually that would have worked to save a little bit. But anyway, I didn't, so I paid full price, and that's fine. But it was so beautiful. I thought that this was the one I really wanted to try out of all their color stories. This was the one that I was like, yeah, I will pay full price for that color story. And I had been wanting to try out the brand for a while. I've heard very good things. Of course, they're cruelty-free, and this palette is vegan. Next, I'm going in with the Cocoa Wrap shade here just to darken up the edges a little bit. I really liked all the different brown tones in this palette, but it still had lots of pops of color. It has great depth. There's a lot of greens, which I love as well. So I decided this was the color story that I wanted to pick up to be my first try, because even though it is a holiday themed palette, it still has a lot of wearable colors for the whole year. It's got this beautiful mustard in the center too. I will say I'm pretty sure I paid for like a shipping protection also. I didn't contact the company about the shade being broken and it jumping out on my vanity when I ordered it, just because I was able to repress it and you can't even tell. The only thing is I was going to take it with me on our holiday weekend away, but because that happened, I was way too scared to put this in my makeup bag and travel with it. So, I mean, that is one downside. The pans are magnetic, so in theory I could potentially like pull the pan out, but one, like, it's such a pretty color, I want to take it out, and two, I'm afraid if I do take it out it will just break everywhere again. So I'm just worried about how fragile it is, and I don't know if it's that shade or all of the shimmer shades. But if you have any experience with Dede Signature and those shimmer shades, let me know your experience. Because it's always a shame if you can't, like, travel with something and use it to its full ability. I don't like to have to baby my stuff. I am clumsy, so if stuff breaks easily, then, you know, it's doomed with me. Just from the first few swipes of these mattes, they do seem to be pigmented, but very blendable. I've just taken a couple swipes, so we definitely need to do more research. But one of the things I wanted to point out again is that because that shade broke over all of the other shades, I tried my best to clean it off, but it did kind of get into all the other shades, and because it is so glittery, I feel like it has kind of like contaminated is a strong word, but it's kind of gotten all over the other palettes. So I'm trying very hard that when I'm picking up my matte shades to not pick up that glitter, because I'm already getting it all over my eyes and face, and I haven't even dug into it yet. Moving along, let's take a little bit of Snowed In and just put it all over the lid to just give us a base. I'm going to take a little bit of this Olive Toast towards the inner part of my lid and a little bit of the Holly Flame towards the outer part of my lid and make this look really Christmassy. I just want to play it with a bunch of the colors and see how they perform. So here's that Olive Toast shade. These definitely have a nice pigmentation but are still blendable. These mattes, you know we're going to have to dig into the shimmers, but so far I am pleased with the performance of these. Now let's take a bit of that red shade, which red is always such a tricky color to formulate. So we'll see. I hope it doesn't turn out too pink. Oh wow, no, it's red. That's great. That's great that it's actually red. Definitely when you blend it, it starts to pink out, so just be sure to pat it and not blend it if you want it to stay red. But that's true of pretty much any red. The pigmentation is really great. I'm going to take a little more of the Cocoa Wrap Brown and just blend this out at the top. I'm going to test out this new to me Moira glitter primer. I don't often use a glitter primer, but I feel like these shades could probably use it. I just recently picked up this glitter primer when I picked up the Moira Chroma Light shadows, which I just recorded a video on that. I will link that. So I think this would go really well with those, but I want to try it out today and see how it performs with these. I don't know how it performs at all, so it's hard to say. This is also cruelty-free and vegan. Just squeezing a little bit out onto my hand. I'm going to use a Nikki LaRose BK Beauty N12 brush to apply just a little bit to the lid. I'm definitely going to go over where I did that delineation of red and green because that's something that needs to blend together, but I don't want to buff it out because I don't want it to turn pink. Ooh, it definitely is like tacky, sticky already, but that's good. That's good. Okay. There's so many pretty shimmers to choose from. I really want to use this Tinsel Twist shade that fell out just to see how it performs since it was so loose. But then this Emerald Sparkle green seems like it would go well too. Let's use Tinsel Twist. If it's going to be jumping out everywhere, we got to use it. It's saying use me. I'm going to start just by applying it with my finger. Oh my goodness, that is stunning. Look. That is stunning. Just barely tapping it on. Oh my goodness. Okay. I forgive you. I'm going to do that to the other eye. It is pretty, like the glitter transfers a lot is the only problem. So it's like all up in my crease already. Not exactly where I wanted it. So when I blend it out, my concern is just that it's like all going to turn to glitter. But it is stunning. And obviously we'll have to test the longevity of this primer, but I'm actually really impressed with this glitter primer. It's like, it feels like a glue, but it's not overly sticky. It's definitely sticky, but not overly so. Like my eyelid isn't sticking to the other parts of my eyelid, if that makes any sense. Also, because that shade is not very tightly pressed, it is pretty loose. You barely have to touch it, and you do pick up a lot, and it transfers well onto the lid from the finger. That is what it looks like. Ooh. That glitter primer really sets down nicely. This is it applied over the glitter primer. Really pretty. It almost looks like it has a bit of a black base, and then it's green and gold shifts. Just trying to wipe the swatch off my hand that had the glitter glue on it was definitely harder than wiping it off my finger. So it definitely improved the staying power of the shadow. This is, you can see how glittery my hand is, maybe. If you can see how glittery my hand is. There's just a lot of particles in this, and that's what I'm saying is kind of getting everywhere. It's all over my fingers, my face. So just keep that in mind. I did do my eyes first, obviously, so that I can clean up my face before putting the rest of my makeup on. But keep that in mind when you're working with that. That definitely seems to be one of the most glittery shadows. I'm going to deepen up the red a little bit. And then let's even use some of the red Crimson Carol shimmer. Let's use some of that over the top. Why not? That's really pretty, but it is almost reading a little less red and a little more, there's definitely some like brown bronze to it, so not quite as red as I wanted, but that's all right. It's just makeup, it's just for fun. This red shimmer is definitely a different formula, obviously, than the tinsel one. It's much more of like, less of a shimmer, more of like just a straight metallic shade. It's a little more dry, but it's still really soft. That's what it looks like. Really beautiful. Maybe a little patchy. Not quite as red as I want it to be, if I'm being perfectly honest. Still pretty. Great for like a fall color. Just not as like red as I was hoping it was going to be today. Alright, let's clean up this mess a little bit. Definitely got a ton of glitter fallout from the green, even with the glitter primer. Not a complaint, just an observation. And it's just sparkle fallout, not like pigmentation green fallout. Again, that's why we did our eyes first today. We definitely need to do something on the under lash line, underneath. I'm going to start with just the really deep mulled wine dark shade. Ooh, that's great. That has a lot of pigment to it. That one would work really well as like an eyeliner. They do blend out really nicely too. Nice pigmentation and nice blend. I'm really happy with that. I do want to take some of the Emerald Sparkle Green shimmer, and I'm going to try to put that under the lash line. Maybe it's just the center of it, and just see how it goes. Okay, I didn't really like how that went. Here's what that shade looks like, the Emerald Sparkle shade. So it looks much better, like smoothed out, than how I was trying to apply it on the lash line underneath, because it's not like smoothed on the finger on the brush. It was just looking more like chunky glitter kind of. So it's much prettier this way. We could put a little, maybe we could put a little on the inner corner. It's definitely chunkier than the Tinsel Twist, but the color is actually really similar to Tinsel Twist when I get them together. So you can barely see the difference of color, but you can see the difference in formulation, where this is like a chunkier one and this is much smoother. But on the eyes, it's kind of reading the same color. I do like both the shades. I just wish there was a little more differentiation. At least on the eye itself. In the pan, they look completely different. Now I have so much glitter all over my face. I'm definitely going to have to go get some micellar water and wipe this all off. I think a little more on the under eye. I'm going to use a little bit of the Pine Nights shade just to add a little green under the eye. I'm going to take a tiny bit of that up around the upper lash line. Here's where we are currently at for this eye look. I do like how it turned out. I'm going to go ahead and add some black liner, some mascara, maybe even some lashes, and then I got to go wash all of this glitter off of my face. But I do want to say I actually I am very pleased with this palette. I'm a little nervous about these shimmer shades falling out now. I'm a little scared. I don't want to travel with it, but the mattes that I have used are very smooth, very pigmented, very blendable. I like them very much. All of the shimmer shades have been like a different texture, different consistency. I really like the Tinsel Twist most so far, the one that jumped out of the palette. I really like that one so far. Most of all, but I do have to try a couple of the other ones, and I'm probably least impressed with the red Crimson Carol shade. It's not bad, but it wasn't like it wasn't really what I was expecting, and it definitely came off a little more brown than red. Overall though, I do like the palette. I'm excited to play with it more. Obviously this was just first impressions, so I can't really give a full yes or no, but here's what I'm thinking. Here is what the look came out with. I also want to give a quick shout out to these Kiss press-on nails. These are press-ons, and they have lasted for a week now. I have never had press-ons that last for an actual week. They are so cute. They're kind of like getting to the point where they are ready to come off. They need to come off. They're getting a little dirty underneath because of that, the stickiness if your nail's not there, you know, like it clings to it. So these will be coming off, but I picked these up on sale. My daughter got a set too. They're the shorts, and we both love them. We got compliments on them, and they lasted through opening presents and not too much hard work, really, quite honestly. Like I wasn't washing dishes with them or anything. So I did just want to mention that in case you're short on time or cash, if you need a quick holiday manicure, these definitely worked out well. So I will come back and check in and follow up with the rest. The eyes are finished, so let's go ahead and do the rest of the face and clean all this up. I got as much of the glitter off as I could, which there's still a lot left, but let's go in with the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Foundation and a wet sponge and just apply it. And you may have noticed that this video went up on Friday instead of Thursday, and that is because we have had some storms here and we lost power in the area, and then we didn't have internet for 2 days, and I have not been able to film ahead. So I didn't have stuff uploaded and ready to go, so everything kind of is behind, and then I did miss 2 days. So I hope you can forgive me for missing some days of Vlogmas this year. Using the Merit Bronze Balm. And also, I do recognize everyone that is getting out consistent content. I recognize how hard you are working, and I applaud you for that very much. I know it takes a lot of work to get content out. Even if it's a short, it just takes longer than you think to film and edit it. So good work to anyone who has been getting that out. I commend you greatly. I debated on even mentioning it because most people probably won't even notice, so I shouldn't bring attention to it. But I'm just being honest that I didn't make it. I didn't make it all the days, but oh well, right? What can you do? I mean, it's just for fun anyway, right? Thankfully, there's a lot of people doing it too, so there's plenty of content to watch out there. And I am a big consumer of YouTube. I watch a ton of YouTube, and not just makeup videos either. I watch a ton, so it's nice. It's nice to have a lot of content, except I couldn't watch it for 2 days when I didn't have power because I'm using my Hourglass Elephant palette for bronzer and blush. Yeah, so at my house we don't have very good cell service, and so I could get like occasional text messages, but they weren't even all like coming through at the right time. I'd get them like hours later, but so I could only send and receive occasional texts, and I wasn't even like sure whether they were going out or coming in, and I couldn't watch anything. So I did, spend a couple days reading and doing stuff around the house. We got our piano tuned. It was expectedly, but it wasn't supposed to happen until January, but they ended up having a cancellation due to power outages. So our piano got tuned like a month early, which is great. So I spent some time playing some Christmas songs on the piano yesterday. So it was actually kind of fun to just not have internet, but definitely I wanted to watch videos. I totally forgot to put my concealer on, so I'm gonna go back in and do that. This is the Cali Ray Hideaway Color Correcting Concealer, and this is great for dry skin. It's not the most full coverage, but mostly I'm just kind of covering up some of this like fallout and a little bit of dark circles. I also forgot to put on the Dear Dahlia liquid blush in the color, this is the shade Dreamy, and I like to put that on under the powder, but it's also okay, you know, one less product doesn't hurt, so that's good. Just gonna set a little luminous powder everywhere from that Hourglass palette. I had a backlog of like Amazon first reads that I had downloaded, so I did finish a couple of those too. One was a short story, and then I finished Yours for the Season and What Happened to Lucy Vale, which I didn't realize was a young adult book, so it was a very fast read. It was a good read. It was a fun read. I liked it. Just giving you fair warning, if you read that one, there are kind of a lot of like content warnings on that book. But I liked that one. I liked Yours for the Season. It was a little too, I like my books like tied up with a nice bow. It was a little too tied up with a nice bow. It was a little too perfect for me, but it was good. It was like 3.5 stars. And then What Happened to Lucy Vale was like 4 stars, I think. I'm going to finish it off with this Merit lipstick in the shade Millennial. And then I think we're done. Here we have the final look. This is again 3 of 4. I'll have another Get Ready With Me next week with a final look. I can't believe that it's almost Christmas. Are you ready for the holiday? If you celebrate, let me know in the comments. Also, if you have tried Dede Signature or the Festive Elegance Palette, I'd love to know your experience, what you think of the shimmers, if you've had any of those like loosely packed shadows that kind of fall out and break. If you like this look, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. If you liked this chatty Get Ready With Me style, give it a thumbs up. I will have more cruelty-free and vegan makeup reviews and tutorials for the rest of Vlogmas, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out. I will see you in another video very soon, but until then, take care of yourself.